Hey everyone, I'm Rachel.
And I'm David.
Join us for a tour of our balcony room on the Emerald Princess.
Let's go!
And this is our tour of our balcony room on the Emerald Princess. So we start in the entryway and we have a full-length mirror. It's pretty wide. It's a pretty nice mirror and it goes, all the way pretty much from the ceiling to the floor. So pretty nice mirror. And it's directly next to your closet space. So starting at the top, we do have lovely life vests, which are essential to know where they are in your cabin, just in case there is an emergency. Do not take them to your muster drill, but know where they are. And this shelf up here, you really don't want to put too much up here because you have some like day pillows and things your steward will likely put up here at nighttime. So there's a little bit of storage, but don't put too much up here. And then we just have your normal closet space. It's pretty big. Princesses closets usually are. And they do give you a good amount of hangers. You can also order additional hangers within the Princess app. So that's nice if you need more. And they also give you some laundry bags. And they give you 2 to start with, but you can get as many as you want from your steward. If you are elite status, you get free laundry. Otherwise, you do have to pay, and it has charges per item here. And then behind, it's like actually 2 bags, and they're kind of like a plastic reusable shopping bag material. So that's really handy for maybe port days or taking things to the pool. And then lots of space in the bottom of your closet. We'll be putting our luggage down here. You can store, your shoes and everything in the bottom. Plenty of space. And then if you have some other kind of smaller items you want to store, it can go in here. There's plenty of shelves in this space. And there is the safe. So it's pretty old, simple safe. You just put it in and choose your own combination. And it's not very big. So you're not going to be able to put like a laptop or anything in there that, pretty much anything past your passports and maybe some wallets and some cash, you're not going to want to put in there. Right, and onto your bathroom. And like with most cruise ship bathrooms, the light switch is on the outside. We'll turn it on. So it is pretty small, so I'm not even going to go in there. But there are some good amount of shelves in the corner. So we usually don't run out of space for storing all of our toiletries in the bathroom, which is pretty nice. And they do give you 2 cups for, brushing your teeth and storing things in there as well. And some hand wash and some body lotion. So wash your hands constantly on your cruise. You definitely don't want to get sick while you're on vacation. Beekman 1802 is pretty standard across most Princess fleets, and it smells pretty nice. It's pretty gender neutral, so it doesn't smell too flowery or anything like that. The lighting in here is pretty decent. It'd be good to get ready in the morning. And it's right above your single sink, which has decent water pressure. And then down below there is some tissues. So your tissue dispenser, and they'll refill that for you as needed. And toilet paper, extra toilet paper down there, as well as sanitary disposal bags. And then your trash cans over on the other side. Typical cruise ship toilet here as well. You need to make sure that it's closed when you flush, and the button on the back is what you would use to flush it. And that leads in right to the shower. So the shower head looks pretty decent. It looks like it will also adjust, so have different, settings on it. So we'll make sure to give you guys an update on that when we do our review after we've been on the ship a little while. We do have a toiletry shelf. Unfortunately, ours is dirty. It came dirty when we got in the room just now. It looks like somebody had some soap sitting there before, so we're going to ask our steward to clean it when they come back for the evening service. And, typical turning on and off temperature adjustment knobs as well. And then right below, we do have body wash and combination shampoo and conditioner. Again, it's Beekman 1802, which is the same brand. Again, it's pretty gender neutral, so, not too bad to use no matter who you are. And one great thing, especially if you're on some rocky seas, is they do have a handle here that is really sturdy in case you need some additional stability in the shower. But unfortunately, Princess does still use the shower curtains, so you will still be kind of in a little cubicle in the corner in your shower curtain, and you may risk getting some water outside, so just be careful. And just in case you have anything that may get wet, bathing suits or anything else you might want to hang on to dry, you do have a clothing line inside the shower.
And here you have your room thermostat. Again, it's very, very basic. If you've seen any of our other videos on the Princess ships, it is pretty disappointing, to be honest. You have no control over fan speed or anything like that. It's literally just warmer or cooler. That's as much as they give you. And that leads us right into the main area. This is like the big room you're probably gonna be spending most of your time in. And we have this really, really nice television set. You could tell this is relatively recent. It's actually pretty nice. So I did notice that the ports are all along here. I'll show you guys in a close-up. And so the ports are fairly hard to get to because of this white box in the way. But the ports back here, I'll be able to reach them. But always we tell you guys, don't try to pull at the television or do anything like that. If you can't reach it without much effort, I probably wouldn't bother trying to do that. And it does not swivel at all. So if you guys take a look here, it's on there pretty good. And it's kind of flimsy at the same time, so don't pull on these. It feels very unstable. But up here is where I think the old TV used to be. And so you can probably picture it. So we got definitely a TV upgrade now. But now it's just all free space with actually a plug up here, which is really nice. These, I think, were part of the television hookups, and now they don't do anything at all. You can get one of those cruise-approved extension cords and put them up here and have like a little nice break of different electronics up here and have them all charging at the same time. This is where they put your mini bar stuff. It's all, more storage essentially. You can do whatever you want here. We pre-ordered some water bottles, which we usually recommend doing because it's not too bad of a price when you order ahead. This is the mini bar setup you get for being in elite status, and we always swap ours out for Cokes and just soft drinks in general. And down here you have your refrigerator. And it's very simple. It's basically what you see on every Princess cruise are these little refrigerators. And it's also got the mini bar stuff. So they really stock you up pretty well, honestly. But we'll get all those swapped out for just soft drinks. And this one actually looks like it's a little bit nicer. It looks like you have a little control panel here. Not much space in the door at all. Like, I don't even think like a can of soda would fit in the door, unfortunately. And there's just a little basic table here. This is glass, so you're gonna wanna be careful. You don't wanna slam things down on top of it. But it's actually a pretty decent size. I think it's really smart that they put these in the room. I think if you don't have a couch with an actual table setup, this is actually a pretty nice alternative. Okay, now we have this little side lamp. Nothing too special. It's actually one of the old twisty ones. It doesn't have an actual switch.
Oh, that's weird.
What?
I said, oh, that's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. And behind the bed, we have the light switches that control different parts of the room. This one's doing over by the front door. And this one's like the general living area, kind of the hangout area. So it's nice to have those, I think, especially when you lay in bed and you forgot to turn the lights off. It's nice to just reach over and turn them off real quick. And you have your desk where, we'll probably be doing most of our work and stuff. But very basic chair. I've seen these on pretty much all the recent Princess ships. So they're okay. They're not great. You probably don't want to spend too much time in them. But this desk is an okay size. You can probably put 2 laptops on here and do okay. And here's your room phone. You can set your wake up alarm, or your room service has the quick dials there. So this is the light switch above the desk. Nothing too crazy. And then you do have 2 US outlets here. And this is actually important because these are your closest outlets to your bed. So if you have a king size bed like we have ours set up here, these are actually going to be your only options for something like a CPAP machine or some other device that you might use at night. Again, that's pretty unfortunate, especially when a lot of modern cruise ships are adding, plugs to the side tables or the lamps themselves. So really surprising, especially since this was refurbished not too long ago. But other than that, there at the table, obviously, we also have your hair dryer. But I don't really know much about hair dryers, so I think we should cut to Rachel.
All right, so these hair dryers are kind of weird. You actually have to press this button to release it, and then it just like falls out.
Oh.
And then, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's gonna die, and it might. It's not very new. I mean, you can tell it's not the right color anymore, probably. Yeah, not the greatest hair dryer. If you have a lot of thick hair, I would recommend bringing a hair dryer with you. But overall, the desk area is actually really nice. It's a good place to be able to get ready in the morning or do some work. Like, I'm going to take some work meetings from over here. The lighting will be really good for that. And the mirror's a decent size as well. So, like, you can almost see your full self in this whole mirror. So underneath the desk, you do have some additional storage as well. So this will be good for any like work items that we don't need to have out consistently, or when I'm done working, put my laptop away maybe for the evening. Pretty decent size, and it goes pretty far back. And then nightstand 1 as well has some storage right here on top, as well as 2 drawers. And they're pretty decently sized drawers, pretty standard. They are not soft close, but they still aren't very loud.
It's not too bad.
Yeah. And you have one on each side of the bed. And speaking of beds, we are gonna do our bed test. So I'm gonna move this because I don't want to lay on that. And I did take my shoes off. So, okay. All right. Okay. Yes. We've been in a hotel for a couple of days, and this is like worlds above that. I sunk right in, and I'm gonna say this is gonna be like an 8.
An 8?
I think it's gonna be like an 8. Yeah.
Okay. All right, my turn to try the bed. Now these are 2 twins put together, and you can ask to have them separated. We preemptively asked them to put them together, so we have one king size bed. Now princess beds, pretty historically for us, are very, very nice. Very, very plush though, so if you prefer a firmer bed, now they do have bed toppers you can ask for and kind of get them the way you want, but we like the plush beds, and so I'm very excited about this. As Rachel mentioned, we've been in a hotel room where I did not sleep very well because the bed was pretty firm, and so I'm gonna hop on, and oh, you guys, I'm telling you,
That is a look of contentment right there.
this is what it feels like in heaven, I'm pretty sure. Now, I'm glad I tested the bed at the end because Rachel's gonna have to finish without me. These are so good. I don't understand it. Now, we actually like these beds so much, we went ahead and purchased the pillows.
We did.
From the Princess website, and they do go in and out of stock like pretty regularly.
They also sell the bedspreads and some of the other linens as well.
Now, I will say, I do think, because, I don't want to just be all positive about it. I do think that these comforters do keep the heat in.
Yeah.
So if you get warm while sleeping, you might want to consider asking for the top sheet and maybe just kind of stick with that. I get very, very warm. I'm warm all the time. It's a curse. But I do okay in these temperature-wise, but it's just one of those things you're going to want to kind of think about. Maybe ask your room steward for a top sheet because you can't order that in the app, but the steward will help you out. So this is like an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10. It's pretty much as good as it gets. So, all right. So we played with the thermostat, got it as low as it'll go. And so now I'm curious what this airflow feels like. It's coming out, at least. It comes out the sides here. Actually, it feels pretty good. On this side, it's actually a little more powerful. So that'll be good for the bed. And one of the main perks to booking this room in particular is the balcony. If you're doing these cruises, you've probably wanted to see what the balcony looks like. And you have this little sheet curtain thing here. It kind of helps with the sun a little bit. And out here is your first look at the balcony. Oh, actually the door slide's pretty nice. We've had some pretty bad doors, but here we are. Now you can see it's actually pretty good lengthwise. So there's the wall, and my arm's barely over. So you got 2 regular chairs that actually have footrests. So it's a little bit of a lounger, not too crazy. These will go back also. So if you got the door blocking you, but if you pull this up, you can lay back actually pretty well. So one of the best ways to really enjoy your balcony, in my opinion. So we're stuck here in port right now, but we're going to be spending a lot of time out here, especially with these scenic type cruises. I think it's worth upgrading to the balcony. It's a really good sized balcony in my opinion. So I really, really do think even if you wanted to turn these sideways and kind of lounge out like that, you're going to have a really good time. So, and when we book these balconies, we're up pretty high on this cruise, but we usually look for the ones that are actually covered, especially when we're doing British Isles or something like that because of the rain coming and going really, really quickly. Now, you do have the ability to ask your room steward to open these type doors here if you're in conjoined rooms with the people next door, and you'll be able to have like a mega balcony, which is actually pretty cool.
All right, normally we're in these rooms for 7 to 10 days, but this is actually a 14-day cruise. So we're gonna get to be in this room for a while and get to share our real opinions of what it's like in a little bit. All right, so that was our tour of our balcony room on the Emerald Princess. So now we want to take you through some of our thoughts now that we've been in the room a little bit. David, do you want to start off with the bathroom?
Yeah, so it's pretty much your standard princess bathroom. I mean, if you've been on a princess cruise or pretty much any cruise line, they're all about roughly the same. I do wish it was a glass enclosed shower, but I will say the shower pressure is actually incredible.
Yes.
I love it. I was actually surprised that the water pressure was so strong because I would have thought the higher up you are, the worse pressure would be, but that's really not the case. This is probably by far the best princess shower pressure we've had, except for maybe on the Sun Princess or one of the newer ships. So love that. Think it's great. I feel really refreshed after showering. So I'm incredibly grateful, especially when we're on a trip that's so long, to have a shower that is really kicking it out. So
yeah, I agree. And then as far as the room itself, the beds are so comfortable. Not all beds on cruise ships or even on Princess, in my experience, are created equal. This is one of the better ones we've had.
Yeah.
You know, it's really comfortable to just sit and lounge, watch TV on. I actually have taken a couple of naps, even though I am not a napper, because
really
I got so comfortable that I just fell asleep.
Yeah.
So.
One of the first things I did was I asked for another pillow, and that's been amazing because I'm using it to, sit up and still work and stuff. So it's just been incredible. I've slept the hardest I've slept in a long time. We're doing really, really long days, long excursions, and lots of walking. And so having that bed waiting for me was like a godsend.
So we were actually on a sister ship to this ship just a couple of months ago, and they were both actually, this one was refurbished longer ago than that one, but I find the room is actually really clean.
Yeah.
Like the grouting doesn't have stuff, built up in it, and like the carpet doesn't have a bunch of weird stains, and everything's just been kept really pretty clean. And part of that is our stateroom steward, who is amazing. Yeah. But part of it is just, maybe it's just better upkeep day to day on the ship. And our stateroom steward actually gave us a towel animal, which is something that, you don't get on all princess ships. Very rarely, actually, do we get it on princess ships. So we were very excited, and we keep him hanging in our room just to kind of make us smile.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I did notice that the room as a whole doesn't really get cold. It's not warm, but it doesn't get cold. And I think you noticed that keeping the balcony door open actually shuts the air conditioner off.
Yeah, I mean, we are on a colder weather cruise, but there was actually a couple of days where it was pretty warm at the beginning, and we had the balcony door open and realized that it was getting pretty warm with the sun and everything like that. So when you keep the balcony door closed and locked, that's the important part. Yeah. That's when the air will actually kick on. But there aren't a lot of plugs in this room. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is on a lot of the older princess ships. There's not any on one whole side of the room. Basically, all of the plugs are on the far side of the room next to the balcony. And so that's been kind of a struggle, and definitely would be a struggle if you had like a CPAP or medical device that you needed to plug in.
Yeah, I don't even know how you're going to be able to do it. If you had two people that needed them or something, you're going to need extension cables at that point, which we usually kind of try to recommend bringing anyway. But man, it's been kind of a pain. So I don't know how that's such a big oversight with Princess, and we see it so often on these Princess ships. I really, really don't get it. Yeah, so I think this is like the perfect cruise to have a covered balcony. A lot of people really want to get that sunlight onto the balcony and they want to sunbathe and stuff like this. Would not be a good balcony to do that on. But I do think like we could be lounging out there and enjoying ourselves and having a really good time without getting some direct sunlight. I love it. I think it's actually a decent size. I like that there's a table and you have the footrest. So overall, I think it's actually a really good balcony. I like being higher up. I think that's really, really nice. So I don't know. I think it's been pretty good.
Yeah, I think I'm actually pleasantly surprised with how the balcony experience has been in this room so far. We are on the Lido deck, which is where, the pools and a lot of the band plays out there. There's a lot of activities out there. So I was a little concerned, even though it's not like a Caribbean cruise, that we would be able to hear noise.
Oh, yeah.
We have not been able to hear any noise, even when we're, completely stopped or it's completely silent outside. We can't hear anything from the Lido deck. So that's been fabulous.
Yeah.
I'm actually really pleasantly surprised with the balcony, both in the size and the overhang and just the placement of our deck.
Yeah.
I've really loved having it.
Yeah, I'm actually shocked that there's not really any sound at all. We can vaguely hear when they're making announcements outside, barely, but I haven't heard like deck chairs being dragged around. I haven't heard music like you mentioned. I don't hear the movies under the stars. It's actually pretty impressive how quiet it is.
Like the salty dog is literally like 2 doors down from us.
Yeah.
We don't hear any of the noise from the kitchens or in the bar or anything.
Yeah, it's been great. And now we are right in front of elevators, which I've heard the elevators more than I've heard anything outside. But again, it's only when it's total silence in our room. We're just sitting here or we're typing or we're working, and then I'll hear like a ding from the elevator outside, and it's very, very faint. So overall, it's been a great location. I would actually stay on this floor again. I actually think it's really, really convenient. It's surprisingly quiet. The other thing I was really surprised by is this refrigerator, I think, is the coldest we've ever had a refrigerator in a room or even a hotel room. And it's really, really kept the drinks cold. And so I'm really, really surprised by that, because we've had very, very bad refrigerators in the past. And it doesn't look particularly impressive. And the space has been good. We have 20 sodas in there at one point and some bottled water. So really, really surprised by that.
Yeah, so overall, this balcony room is really great, actually. It's one of my favorite balcony rooms we've had on a princess ship of late. Yeah, this class of princess ship is a little bit older. They were mostly refurbished in like 2019 through like 2022. And this one is my favorite. It's just cleaner. It seems like they did a little bit of updates to things. They definitely put the nicer beds in these rooms. And so I would definitely recommend staying in a balcony. There's a lot of space. I think the only drawback for me is there's not a like love seat or something like that, but none of these older ships are going to have that at this point anyway.
Yeah, I think when they do the refurbs, it's kind of misleading. It's a little bit of marketing, because every time we go on these refurbished ships, it all kind of looks the same as it did before the refurbishment. But with this one, I feel like they did clean some stuff up. I feel like the fixtures are a little bit nicer, or at least buffed out a little bit. I haven't seen like nicks in the wall or chips anywhere, you know. So overall, I think they did an incredible job with this particular ship. But for us, it's just been really good and refreshing. So I don't know. I think they did just a really good job.
So what do you think? Have you guys been on the Emerald Princess, or do you have any questions about the balcony rooms that we can share with you? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
And if you enjoy this video and want to see more travel content from us, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. But for now, I'm Rachel.
And I'm David.
And we hope this video helps you find the right direction for your next adventure.
Bye.
Bye.